Hi, and welcome to today's live reading from Satan's Devil's MC, Boxset Books 1 through 5, Brothers Protecting Their Own, by Manda Mellet, presented by Itsy Bitsy Book Bits. Book 1, Turning Wheels, Chapter 1, Prologue, 18 months ago. Walking into the typical English pub in Guildford, I spy my friend hovering by the entrance and have my greeting ready as I approach her. "Hey, girlfriend." At my voice, Zoe turns around and pulls me in for a hug and a kiss. I lean over at the same time as she turns her head and accidentally end up giving her a smack around the lips. Of course, I make the most of it. Hi yourself, babes. My face splits into a wide grin as she slaps me lightly on my arm. Carry on like that, and they're going to think we're a bunch of lesbies, she warns me. I make a show of pulling away as I do, glancing around to see if there are any likely-looking males in the vicinity that could have been turned on or alternatively on at our little show. Zoe barks a laugh at me when together we go to the bar and order a round of drinks. While waiting to be served, I started regaling her with all I've been up to. The only time I pause is to nod briefly at the bartender and give my choice of vodka and Coke. By the time we're sitting at a table in the corner where we can gossip to our heart's delight, her mouth has already fallen open. Both of them? Together? I smirk at her. Well, girl's gotta live life to the full, hasn't she? While she's rendered speechless, the smile slowly fades from my face. Not even my best friend Zoe knows. There's a reason why it seems my goal in life is to collect as many varied sexual experiences as I'm able to, forcing painful memories to their rightful place in the very back of my mind. I give her a light rap on the hand to get her attention. "So what's up with you, bitch? About time you got laid, isn't it? How long has it been now?" Zoe and I have a long friendship going back to our uni days when we shared a flat together. Living a fair distance apart, our contact nowadays is limited to the girls' nights out on every other Friday, which tended to follow the same pattern. Each time we met, I would entertain her with my long list of conquests while she sits back and listens. She encourages me, seeming to enjoy living my exploits vicariously. As far as I know, it's been an awfully long time since her last sexual encounter with anything that wasn't battery operated. And even that, like the others before it, hadn't been anything to write home about. Tonight starts off following the same pattern, but for once, she has something to say. It surprises me when she drops it in there, her voice animated. "Guess who I'm working for?" I shrug, as obviously it was impossible for me to answer without her explaining, and she continues excitedly. "Ethan Bloody St. John Davies." "What?" I know of the name. Well, who doesn't? He's like one of the richest men in the country, though. Quickly, I flash my eyes towards her, showing her she's caught my interest, and grab my phone out of my bag. "Go on, tell me more," I encourage while gazing intently at the screen. Fingers of one hand flying over the keys, but waving the other to show I'm still listening. "I'm working on a project to renovate his 16th century walled garden on a massive estate." "His estate," Zoe gestures towards the picture of the handsome-looking man who appeared on my phone. I stare at the image of the handsome enough-looking man, enough to spark my interest. I could so do that. Wow, just look at him. And look at that house behind him. It's a fucking mansion. "Is that where you're working? Do you need an assistant?" When she tells me she's been introduced to him, my mouth drops open. "You actually bloody met him. What's he like?" "Gorgeous," she taps her finger on my phone. In his case, the camera doesn't lie. And it certainly doesn't show you his rather tight backside. So his glutes are something else. Now my mouth hangs open. I'm surprised you noticed, though. Go you. I zone out when she goes into detail, and my eyes narrow as she deviates from what interests me the most. "Hey, babe, get back to the good stuff." Okay, so he introduces me. I got that bit, babe. Now get to the fucking part. Her drink almost shoots out of her mouth as she splutters. What the heck? She gives me a long stare, and I return a rueful smile. So she ignores my interruption. He introduces himself in this really upper-class, cultured voice, pronouncing his name as Ethan St. John Davies. I tilt my head to one side. So what happened next? Nothing, Soph. He went his way, I went mine, she tells me honestly. To tell the truth, we've been working on the site for a month now, and that's the first and only time I've seen him. I doubt I'll see him again. She points to my empty glass. Another? 17 months ago. When our girls' night out comes around, Zoe's too eager to see me that she arrives early. I immediately see she has something to tell me, as she's almost bouncing in her seat with excitement, impatient to share. She's terrible at keeping secrets, so when I slide up the bench next to her in our regular booth, I throw her a sharp look. Well, you've either got fucked or fucked up, I announce as I take a sip of the vodka and Coke she's already bought for me, grinning widely. Spill. Snorting, she almost spits out her mouth full of wine, and a short laugh bursts out of her at my crudeness. Taking a tissue out of her bag, she blots it over her lips to dry them. Come on, which is it? I look at her carefully. Or have you just been playing too hard with your bob? Sophie, she admonishes me. She quickly glances around to make sure no one heard my reference to her vibrator, then puts me out of my misery. Even St. Davies has asked me out on a date. My gasp is loud. He fucking what? Shush, she chides me again, noticing heads turn at my exclamation. Calm down a bit, and I'll tell you what happened. Well, fucking come on then. Don't leave me hanging. My eyes are wide open. I didn't see that coming. Grinning, happy and pleased with herself, she tells me about her meeting with the millionaire. I laugh my head off as I picture it. You fell at his fucking feet. Way to go, Zoe. What happened next? He helped me up, and in a roundabout way, she tells me how he came to ask her to have dinner with him. My mouth drops open. I'm both impressed and pleased for her. Fucking hell, Zoe. When you get back on that horse, you do it properly, don't you? You've landed yourself a fucking thoroughbred stallion. 15 months ago. Tonight I beat Zoe to the pub and lined us up with a couple of shots. It seems ages since I've seen her. As soon as she was within hearing distance, I yell out, How's it going with Loverboy? She comes over laughing. Oh, Sophie, he's gorgeous. He's so gentle and kind. I've moved in with him. I live in a fucking mansion now. Servants and everything. I don't have to clean, cook, or even do my own laundry. It isn't often she's able to shock me. Blimey, that was so quick. So what's the fucking catch? No catch, she giggles. He's amazing. So generous, so attentive and caring. He does everything he can to make me happy. What? My face creases. I'm incredulous but over the moon for my friend, that she's at last found a good man for herself. Shit, you've hit the bloody jackpot, babes. Then I think about it, my eyes narrow suspiciously. It's moving a bit fast, isn't it? You're actually living with him? Have you given up your place? She nods her head and grins. Yes, I've terminated the lease. Let's face it, it was a crap lease in anyone's eyes, and Ethan persuaded me to let it go. It feels right, Sophie girl. He spoils me something rotten, and I want for nothing. So what's he like to fuck? Must be good if you move straight in. Tell me you did the deed before you committed. You can't live with someone without putting him through his paces first. What's his dick like? Large? Medium? Does he know what to do with it? Wait a fucking minute. Don't tell me it's tiny. You're living the life of Riley, but there has to be a snag somewhere. Still, I suppose, if he's got the money, the size of his prick probably isn't so important, as long as he uses his hand and mouth. Does his tongue compensate? Sophie, she covers her mouth to stop her shocked giggles escaping. Why is it all you can think about is sex? Hey, Zoe, bless you. You're beautiful, but sex is what makes the world go round. But if you're telling me he's got a big dick, then you go. You've won the fucking lottery. I'm not discussing the size of his appendage with you, she tells me primly. I try to hurry up. Come on, spill the fucking beans. I should have been glad that my friend had fallen on her feet. But the things she tells me makes morning wills ring in my mind. What have you gotten yourself into, Zoe? But there will be no telling her, so I don't even try. And in truth, maybe my worries are all in my mind and say more about me than her. I won't ever be committing myself to one man. Why should I when there's a whole world full of them to explore? 14 months ago. Something's up with Zoe tonight. She keeps shifting awkwardly in her seat and comes up with some lame excuses about why she keeps missing our Friday nights together, and evades the questions when I ask her whether I can visit her in that fucking mansion, which is now her home. Her eyes keep flicking swiftly away, and eventually she changes the subject, turning it back to me by asking, "How's you?" "Same old fucking same old," I grin. "Hey, you ought to have seen the fella I met last week. He was an electrician doing some wiring at work. Well, we got chatting and one thing led to another. Let's just say, I'll never look at the broom cupboard in the same way again." "So you didn't. Not even would you do that." She covers her mouth but's unable to suppress her snort of laughter. "I fucking did. I couldn't walk straight for the rest of the day." My grin widens. Another thing crossed off my bucket list. "So what's going on with you and Ethan?" "I'm not joking about that visit. I love to see how the other half live." "Didn't anyone see you?" "No, and don't change the subject. How's that man of yours treating my bestie?" Unusually for us, the conversation lags, and it deepens my suspicions that she's not living the perfect life she's describing. For once, the atmosphere is awkward between us. But if I try to get her to talk, she just turns the topic back to me. "Oh, I'm happy enough to tell her about the guy from the solicitors I bagged when I dropped some documents off at his office. But could I get information about her? No way." 6 months ago. Zoe's cut off all contact with me, and I hadn't a clue why. I tried phoning her, but it seemed she changed her number. I even tried calling Ethan's mansion, but was told Zoe didn't want to talk to me, and was told in no uncertain terms that I shouldn't try to get in touch with her again. At first I was hurt, then puzzled and worried about my friend. Finally I shrugged it off. She knew where I was if she needed me. Then out of the blue there's a knock at my door. "Zoe." My pleasure at seeing my friend was quickly chased away by my concern when I saw the bruises on her face and the hunched way she was walking. It wasn't hard to see she was in a lot of pain. "Oh my God, Zoe, what the fuck?" She put her hands on the doorframe, leaning on it for support. "I've left Ethan, Soph. I'm going to my mother's in France, but I don't have any money." "Hey, come in. I've got some I'll give you." I ushered her inside and sat her down. "Do you want a coffee or anything?" I was of the mood she'd come to her senses about Ethan. I'd always suspected there was something off about the man. And he'd been hurting her? The bastard. Declining my offer, she shook her head. "No, I just want to get away." It seemed like every word was an effort for her. The stress of leaving the man who'd been her world for almost a year had got to her. I didn't press her details. The first look at her, my face told me all that I had to know. There was no thought in my mind but that I had to help her. Not too far from my house was a garage with a convenient ATM. So with no hesitation, I grabbed my keys, jumped in my car to go and get all my available money out. Returning as fast as I could, I gave her everything I had, enough for her journey and a little on the top to keep her going. She burst into tears as she thanked me, and we clung together like the best friends we'd always been. She gave me her new number and promised to let me know when she was safe with her mom. Then, after an emotional goodbye, she was gone. I watched as she drove down the road until the car disappeared into the distance. I'd never see her again. She'd never call me, but I knew she didn't make it to France. The very next day, my life was shattered.